Okay, hi everybody, I am Ashley McHouston. I'm the Digital Curator and Public Outreach Coordinator for the Fairfield Foundation, and I wanted to share with you one of our cool outreach initiatives today. So this is our 3D model. If you haven't seen it yet, it's one of our coolest projects. It's pretty awesome. We've made it with photogrammetry and 3D printing, and basically what we've done is, as we're digging out at the Fairfield plantation site, as we dig down to the base of every layer, I fly a drone over, take photographs, splice them together, and make 3D models. And then I'm able to print those 3D models. So what we have right here is the south edition of the house, and I've printed layer A of this test unit, so this is a 5x5 square, and I've made it so you can take it apart kind of like a puzzle. So when we take off this layer, we're finding exactly what we found underneath, which is layer B and layer C. And this is kind of cool because we can show you kind of the process of archaeology, but also how we learn about what happened to the house. So the house was built in 1694, it burned in 1897. We're kind of able to work backwards and see exactly how that, the burning of the house happened over time as we're doing archaeology. So what you're seeing here is the rubble of the house after the fire when it collapsed. And so let's say we're out in the field, we're excavating layer A, which is the topsoil layer, that all the sediment that's settled on the bricks since the house collapsed. We come down to this brick layer. We're able to see, where certain elements of the house fell. In certain areas, we found intact pieces of chimneys, which is really cool. And then as we take apart that layer, we remove the rubble. We're able to find little pieces of window glass. So we'll find little dark patches of melted window glass, ashes, pockets of ash. And that is from when the house was actually on fire. We also find these. If you're an archaeologist, you're probably cringing right now. These are rodent burrows. So not everything we find is human related. Sometimes we're excavating stuff that groundhogs have left for us. So once we get down to this layer, we take off the ashy deposits, the melted glass, and then what we're down to is the old topsoil layer. So this was the ground surface before the house burned. And that's where we're gonna find all of our really cool artifacts from the people who lived in the house. So if you come over here, you might notice that these pieces look a little bit different. That is because these areas were excavated before we had photogrammetry. So what I've had to do is go through the old notes and maps that people have drawn over the years and recreated each of these layers based on that. So these are physical representations of archaeological data, which is kind of cool. So we can excavate each layer here. You can see we've got the pockets of rubble. So this is the brick that fell. These are the ashy deposits. Again, I based the shape of all of this on maps that archaeologists in the past drew. So we excavate that, and we can excavate our old topsoil layers. That's what this one is down to right now. And at the base of that, we find subsoil, which is sterile soil. Around the edge of the bricks, the brick foundation, we find a builder's trench. We might find scaffolding, post holes, and then when we excavate the inside of the house, we find some cool interior elements like this chimney cheek. We're coming down to one on this side now too. We think this might be the top of a chimney. And then this is of course a hearth. So as we're excavating the middle, we're finding even cooler elements. We're gonna have to reprint this block pretty soon because we've done a lot more archaeology there. But in the meantime, I'll show you our newest element of this model. This comes to you from Harris Agnew, our intern extraordinaire from Jamestown High School. And what he's done is he's actually helping us reconstruct the Fairfield Manor House digitally. So he's using archaeological evidence, architectural drawings, old photographs, and he's putting together the most detailed reconstruction of the house that we've ever had. So I'm also printing that, and we're making it so you can actually excavate the whole house and then put the house back on top of the foundation, which is super cool. So we've got the basement section here, the first floor, got the second floor, if I can light it up, and then the attic. Swear it goes on. There we go. Ta-da! So this is kind of cool because it is a reconstruction of a house that nobody's seen since 1897. But it's also cool because it kind of gives you perspective. Like if each of these is a 5-foot square, I'm 5 feet tall. So this is how high up on the house that I would come. When you're out there, you don't really have that like feeling because the foundation comes up to your knees. So it kind of gives you a better appreciation for how big this house was and how kind of cool it was. So that's the Fairfield model. When we're open again, you should come by and see it, or better yet, come out to Fairfield and dig with us. We're really excited to have our volunteers back in the field again. And who knows, and next summer we might have a piece of this model that you dug.